I'm really glad you mentioned your dad, because there's a story we want to touch on, which is a very gripping story. I heard that he was basically preaching and he converted the wrong person.
Yeah.
So I'll let you tell the story.
Yeah, so Egypt's a Muslim country. We grew up in a Muslim country where you can be a Christian, and you guys would know, you can be a Christian, you can worship Jesus, but you cannot dare speak against Muhammad. If you dare speak against Muhammad or preach to a Muslim and convert them to Christianity, your life is in danger. In fact, under Sharia law in Islam, apostates are killed. So in Christianity, if you leave Christianity, we're not going to kill you. We're going to call you, we're going to pray for you, we're going to love you. In Islam, if you leave Islam, you're an apostate and you must be killed, according to Muhammad. So my dad already was risking his life, risking their life by preaching to the Muslims, and thousands of them were coming to Christ. My dad preached the gospel, the truth of the Bible. Thousands of them were coming to Christ, and my dad ended up converting a specific woman, and he didn't know she was, a very important person in his Muslim world. My dad was preaching to a lot of Muslims. They were coming to Christ, and he preached to one specific lady. He didn't know her husband was a leader of a Muslim terrorist group. He was preaching to her. That Muslim lady ended up believing in Jesus and turning to Christ, leaving Islam, getting baptized. And when her husband found out, he was furious.
Yeah.
And obviously, instead of killing his wife and going after his wife, he said, I'm going to go after the preacher that preached to his wife. And he was like, how dare a pastor preach to my wife and convert to Christianity? So he finds out it's my dad. So he makes a strategy and a plan. He's going to kidnap my brothers at the age of 5 and 9, behead them, put them in a bag, and send it to my dad's front door. That's how Muslims do it. They will torture you. They will kill your kids. They will rape your wife. They will burn your church. They will do something in order to get back at you. And their plan was, we're going to kidnap my brothers at the age of 5 and 9, behead them, put them in a bag, send it to my dad to teach him, don't preach Jesus again. So the two men, he sends 2 men to the bus stop, 7 o'clock in the morning. When my brothers catch the bus to school, they've studied them. Now they're there, 7 o'clock in the morning, about to get out of the van. They see my brothers, and as they try to get out of the van, they feel frozen in the van. They can't move. They don't know what's happening. These guys have killed preachers, politicians. A 5 and a 9-year-old are like little insects to them. They should be able to kill them very easily. The 2 men are frozen in a van. They're unable to get out. My brothers get on a school bus. The school bus leaves, and it's 2 Muslim men unfreezing them. They don't know what's going on. They're angry at each other. They're like, you coward. They think they're frozen because they were fearful. They're like, you coward. You couldn't kill that kid. The next day, the boss sends 2 bigger men. The 2 bigger men now come, and he tells them, you finish the job. They come in the van, 7 o'clock in the morning, school bus. They see my brothers, 5 and 9, about to go on a school bus. Now, these 2 men are able to get out of the van, and as they get out of the van, they're standing right behind my brothers now. They're right behind my brothers, and they think they got them. And now, as they go to grab them, they feel a supernatural hand, an angel, tie their hands behind their head. Wow. Both these 2 Muslim terrorist group men find their hands tied behind their back, and they don't know what's going on. They're confused. They've killed many people before, and this little 5 and 9-year-old, they can't lay their hands on them. My brothers get on a school bus. The school bus leaves, and they unfreeze again. He goes to my dad's house, knocks on the door, and he tells them the story. That's how we know what happened. We wouldn't have known if this didn't happen. And he says to them, the Muslim Brotherhood leader says to my dad, I tried to kill your children, but your God protected them. And our Muslim Brotherhood leader in the living room of our house gave his life to Christ, gets baptized, and is now a Christian. And this is a story, this is a life we grew up in. We grew up in, my dad did not care if you were going to kill him or his children. He was going to preach Jesus no matter the cost. And that's the way we view things now. I don't care if you want to kill me. My Jesus is worthy to die for. My Jesus is worthy to lose everything for. He gave his life for me. I'll give my life for him. So now when we come to Australia, we're preaching Jesus, and we're preaching, and people are like, man, aren't you scared? I'm like, scared of what? I'm like, we're in Australia. You have freedom to speak. Australia, America, the West. You have freedom of religion, freedom of speech, as if you're not going to use that to preach. I mean, at least I'm not getting killed for my faith. You have preachers in Egypt who are not scared of losing their head, but you have preachers in Australia who are scared of losing followers. You have Christians in Egypt who are not scared of losing their family and dying, but then you come to Australia and everyone's scared of losing a job. I'm like, you serious? You're scared of losing your job? I'm like, go to the Middle East and preach Jesus Christ. Go to Iran, Iraq, or Nigeria, or somewhere around the world that's not Christian, and watch what will happen to you. So that's the world we come from. So now when we're facing Australian hate or American hate, we're like, man, this is baby. This is nothing. What, you're going to follow me on Instagram? Go for it. You're not cutting my head off.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the history. And people might think we're extreme. I'm like, mate, we're not extreme. You're just lukewarm.
Yeah.
You are so lukewarm, and you don't understand Christianity. The apostles, all of them died. They died for Jesus Christ. They didn't get tickled for the faith. They didn't get money for the faith, fame and power and cameras and and lights on them. No. They actually, like, what we have today is very easy in comparison to the apostles. Yeah. Peter was crucified upside down. John was boiled, abandoned on the island of Patmos. So it's like, man, we have it really easy, and the least we can do is preach Jesus with everything we got.
I agree. So the first time your dad told you that story, or your mum told you that story, what did you feel?
Man, I was like, please stop preaching Jesus. I was like, I don't want to die. One time, man, I remember one time I was a little kid. I was like maybe 6 or 7, I can't remember. One time I was a kid, and a Muslim guy leaves a note at our door with a number on it. And he writes on it to my dad. He's like, call me, stop preaching, or call me and see what's going to happen, along these lines. It's like a warning, a threat to my dad. My dad decides, he calls all the kids in the living room. Right, most parents would hide this from the kids. My dad says, "Kids, come in the living room. Come." And we come. We're like, "What's going on? What is this? What does he want?" She reads a note with us, and he calls. He starts dialing the number. He starts calling this guy, this Muslim guy, that's threatening him if he doesn't stop preaching Jesus. My dad calls him, puts him on speaker, and starts talking to this guy. He's like, "Hey, it's Pastor 𝐼𝐸. What were you saying?" And the Muslim guy's angry. He's like, "Stop preaching Jesus, or I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill your family." And he's furious, going off. And my dad starts laughing at me, like, "Oh, really? What are you going to do again if I don't stop preaching, if I don't stop preaching about Jesus?" And the Muslim guy's angry. He's furious because he wants to terrorize you, right? That's the point of Islam. That's why they attacked Bishop Murray live on television. They want to terrorize the church. So they were meant to put fear in us, but my dad said, "No, I'm going to laugh at you." And by the end, my dad was like to him, "Mate, I'm not going to stop preaching Jesus. You can do whatever you want. You can come after me. You will never be able to make me stop preaching Jesus." And the Muslim guy ended up hanging up, angry and furious. And that's where we grew up. So I grew up with, seeing Christians bold for Christ. And that was my first time. I was like, "Please stop preaching Jesus. I don't want to die, man." I was like, "I'm not married, man. I'm a kid. I still got my life ahead of me. Please relax, relax." And now I get it. He was just following Christ and setting an example for us.
He didn't sugarcoat it for you, which is interesting, because there are a lot of preachers that kind of do the dangerous stuff but try and shelter the kids. But I guess he wanted you to grow up knowing that.
He wanted us to inherit his courage. It's a double portion. Elijah gave a double portion of anointing to Elisha. That's really what the parents' job is. It's to give your spirit to your kids, to give the spirit of holiness to your kids, to give the spirit of courage to your kids. You're not just feeding them, some milk and, some food or whatever you feed them. You're giving them spiritual inheritance, prayer, fasting, scriptures, church. You're giving them something a lot more than that. And my dad gave us a lot more than feeding us food.